I truly care and I truly take the time to understand what is that they need. Okay. Not only what they want, because sometimes they think that they need something, but there is so many other things that they need, right? So it's your job to be able to understand that and have that clarity. Welcome, my friends, to the Be You Brand podcast. And I'm so excited. Well, I'm always really excited because I truly share things that excite me here in the podcast. Today, I'm going to share about a milestone in my business, but also I am going to share some of the things that I believe that people are not truly putting out there, especially when they're talking about incomes. We are going to be talking about the secrets behind a $40,000 month and a $60,000 launch that we just closed in November. Why am I sharing and why you truly want to listen to the end of this episode? The thing is this, you guys, that I actually kind of doubted to share about the income openly, but honestly, inside of the Be You Brand Academy, we talk about this all the time. I even do some debriefs of my launches. I share with our students and clients because I believe that that transparency really is what helps people truly believe that if somebody else is doing it, they can do it too, right? And I truly believe that if you see, and you know my story, and I'm going to kind of like walk you through it a little bit fast here so you have an idea. Like when I first went full time on my business, the first year in business, and parenthesis here, I was already running my business as a side hustle and I was making money as a side hustle. But when I went full time, for me, it was so mind blowing. I had so many blind spots when it came to my mindset, to money, to all the things that needed to happen to actually make my business happen. I literally made 20 grand in the full year. And for me to look back, we just had a $40,000 month, and transparency, this is not our biggest month ever. This is our second biggest month ever. Yesterday, I got this message from our bookkeeper, and I was like, you know what? This is our sign that I truly need to share. So I want to read to you the message that she sent me, and then we're going to get into the podcast. And the reason why I truly believe that you want to hear to this till the end is because I am going to tell you all the truth, what it actually means, because a lot of people will tell you about how much they're making, but they're not going to tell you about the cost. They're going to tell you how much they truly are taking home from that money. I want you to be able not only to replicate this, to get here, but to overpass it. So let's get going. I want to share my celebration with you. This was a text that she sent me yesterday. Holy crap. In November, you brought in over 23K on Stripe, over 15K in Honeybooks, and over 1,500 in PayPal for a whopping 40K total. Congrats. Whew, you guys, I read the message and I was about to start a photo shoot, and I was just like in awe, because in business there is ups and downs, up and downs, up and downs. I want to share with you, this is the result of a few different things. This is not, I just woke up one morning and my business made $40,000. Let's break it down so you can understand and you can see where you can apply this to your business. Number one, this is the result of having absolute freaking conviction on my offer. Absolute fucking conviction on my offer. What does this mean? I know that when you're putting together an offer, you believe in it. You are like, oh, this is what people need. Now, are you communicating that with your people? And I want to tell you, obviously, I'm going to tell you a story. And is this year when we hosted Be You Brand Live, the day of the VIP, I remember there was a moment where I sat in a room. On the back, one of the speakers was hosting a hypno breathwork session, and I was doing it too. I looked around the room and I had this enlightening moment where I was, oh my God, every single one of the women here are having a breakthrough. They are growing in whatever way they need to be growing. They are healing. They are growing their businesses. So many things encompassed in this event. But on the VIP, 99% of the women were clients of the Be Brand Academy. And what happened was throughout the weekend, as they shared with other people and they were there, I realized the massive fucking impact that I'm having on the people that come into my world. I did have a lot of conviction on our programs before, but I'm going to tell you that after this event, I started talking about the Be Brand Academy, the Be Brand movement in a completely different way. And I believe that this is one of the reasons we had one of our biggest launches ever. Now, it's not the only reason, but I want you to look in the mirror and really ask yourself, am I talking about my offers or what I sell in a way that people want to be a part of? Am I completely excited about bringing people into my world? Because if you are not excited, why the fuck should they be excited? So I want you to think about that. So that was one of the results why I believe that we just had the most amazing launch and month. Number 2 is having clarity on my personal brand, what my offer is, who is it for, understanding this is your old friend, ideal client avatar. But this is the thing. I still sit with women across the computer or in person or at events that while they understand that that's the key, they're still not doing the work of the ideal client avatar. As of today, I believe that almost every VIP client that I had, and I have somebody coming at the end of this week, almost every single one of them had come for ideal client avatar work. And this is the thing. When you understand the person you want to work with, you understand the right person for your programs, you're actually creating programs for your people because you understand them. You are speaking straight to their heart. I can't even tell you how many times people will comment on my post and they will say, yep, straight to my heart, right? It looks like you're reading my mind. And the reason for that is because I truly care and I truly take the time to understand what is that they need. Okay. Not only what they want, because sometimes they think that they need something, but there is so many other things that they need, right? So it's your job to be able to understand that and have that clarity. Okay. And number 3, the internal work that I have done and still doing and will never stop, because that work never stops, to actually believe that I am worthy of generating that kind of income, that I am worthy of attracting these kind of clients, that I'm worthy of the money, I'm worthy of the life. We had our biggest launch ever in February. We have an over $70,000 launch. I remember I thought, okay, this is it. Now we're going to do it every single time. And even though I had the belief, I couldn't recreate it. So there is something about having that energy, but also being able to recreate it and being able to hold it. Because if you're in constant fear or scarcity of your thinking, oh my God, how am I going to repeat this? How am I going to do this again? The truth is that you're not coming from a place of enjoying what it is that you just created for yourself. I'm still doing so much internal work when it comes to that. I'm going to give you an example of this. I'm actually going to use overwhelm for this because I know that this time of the year, like it's overwhelm everywhere. I know that, you guys, there is so many things going on for all of us. But this has been coming up over and over and over on the academy. So I want you to kind of picture this. When you are in a state of overwhelm and you're in frazzle, right? You're like, oh my God, and I got to do this, and I got to do that, and I have to send the email, and I have to send this. Literally every decision that you're making in your business, from the email that you're sending to the podcast episode that you're recording, to whatever it is, the call that you're having with a client. Where is your energy? Where are you coming from? Right? So you have to be able to stop the madness and get back into alignment. And I know that these words sound so fucking stupid sometimes when you are on the overwhelm, and or maybe you haven't done any of this work. I remember listening to people talking about this years ago, and I was like, I don't even know what they're talking about. But I'd urge you that if you haven't started doing this work, to stop, to be calm and collected and rested, to really like take care of yourself first, to really be on a place where you're working on your business, you're looking at everything that is happening from a place of abundance and strategy. When you put those things together, I truly believe, and abundance can be abundance of joy, abundance of time, abundance of, so it's like, how do you allocate the time? Because we all have the same time in the day, and you get rid of the overwhelm and you stop and you stop and you look around. So the three things, again, I'm going to recap them, is having absolute conviction on my offer, having clarity on my personal brand, what is my offer and who is it for, and the internal work that I have done. And the internal work never ends. You always are doing different things. You're clearing shit out and new shit is coming up, right? Because we are creating trauma and fears and beliefs as we go. So that work never ends. So these are literally all the things that we teach inside of the Be Brand Academy, you guys, because I truly believe that becoming household name, right, when it comes to being a personal brand, to be known, it doesn't happen overnight. Now, you can create income overnight. Like, you're a business owner. You can go out tomorrow and sell whatever it is and make money, right? Like, we're business owners. Like, think about that. You can put an offer and start talking to people and you can make sales. But I truly believe that what I just shared above, right? Really believing in your offers, having an offer that you absolutely love, like, all the things take time. And there is a few things that I want to walk you through when it comes to talking about money and to talking about the things that happen inside a business that is growing like this. So one is the vulnerability of sharing money wins and why I am deciding, right, like to share now. I said briefly earlier, one of the things that have helped me so much in my business, I can't even say it enough, has been to look at other people that are doing things much bigger than me and look at those people and be inspired by their income, inspired by their actions, being in rooms where I'm literally the dumbest person in the room. Now, a lot of you, and this was me in the past, we would put in rooms where we're feeling big, right? Where we're feeling like we're smart, where we're feeling that we are the shit. Now, and this is the thing, that the only thing that is doing is feeding your ego. It's not growing you. It's not showing you where you need to grow. So there is a few stories here that I want to tell you. So one is like, I have an amazing friend, like she's such an inspiration, and she's like pulling, I think this year, like 3 million. And we had a conversation, I think it was at the beginning of the year. I spoke at her mastermind, and one of the things that we were talking about, it was like, I just had my $70,000 launch, and we were talking about like rapid growth, and like we actually met in 2019. I took her first set of online photos that she ever used. That's what she used to actually launch her brand back in the day. And we started kind of at the same time. And I was like, oh, I'm feeling so behind when I'm talking to people like you. And she was like, this is the thing, my friend. We all have different stories, different skills that we need to polish. We come from different backgrounds. And remember, I was a bartender, right? And what she told me at the time, she was like, this is a thing, Ati. I came into business where when I was in corporate, I already had about 20 employees under me. So when I started my business, the first thing that I thought is, well, I need a team. Like, how am I going to do this? I was already in that mindset that you needed a team to create certain results. For me, I was a bartender. I had zero knowledge of how to lead a team. I had zero knowledge on even like the basic stuff for business. And when she told me, she's like, the most important work that you can do is actually lean into every single one of those skills that you don't have, because you're going to have to learn all those things, even if you ever want to outsource. And in that conversation, I felt so inspired by her. And I'm always so inspired. And I sometimes ask myself about certain people that I see like that. Okay, what would this person do? Like, how is this person thinking? How are the people that are more successful than you and me are actually making decisions? How can they handle the pressure of the everyday? Because there is pressure on running a business. What is, I believe, so important from these is this: looking at other people and really thinking, if she can do it, I can do it too. But this is why you need to be very, very careful, especially online. A few things. Number one, you never know when people are saying the truth. You want to make sure that you're following people that you're been following them, like either you know in person, or like you want to gauge the trust that you have around them. So that's number one. Number two, you want to make sure that you are actually being inspired and you are not in competition with that person. So you're not in competition, you are not comparing yourself, and the feeling is a feeling of empowering and inspiration and not comparisonitis. Because this is the thing. If you are kind of going in competition and your only reason for wanting to make more money, you're like, oh, like I'm feeling behind. And I'm going to tell you, that's where I was feeling. And I had a conversation with another friend recently. I told you, I'm putting myself in rooms where everybody's making like 1 million, 2 million, 3 million, because that's where I'm going. However, I'm allowing my own journey to lead the way. What does this mean is I'm always putting myself out of my comfort zone. I'm always learning something new. I'm always gauging where that learning needs to be, while I am wildly inspired by other women that are doing bigger and better and amazing things than me, without allowing that to rain on my fucking parade. Because when my bookkeeper said, like, you just made $40,000 last month, I could have thought, oh yeah, but so-and-so made X. But no, I jumped and I was like, hell fucking yeah. So I want you to really be careful of that. And if you're going through comparisonitis or whatever, DM me. I have tools for you. The next thing that I want to talk to you about is the reality and the cost of business when coaches share these numbers. Because I'm going to tell you, this is kind of crazy, but once people see that you're starting to make money, there is leeches coming from everywhere. And I know this sounds like a little bitchy, but it's true. Like, people think that you're oozing money from everywhere. And I want to tell you this, there is cost to doing business. And you also need to be aware of this cost, because when you are preparing your numbers, when you're preparing your programs, when you're pricing your services, whatever it is, you need to understand how much of that money actually goes into your pocket, how much of that money needs to stay on the business, how much of that money is for taxes, etc. So I want to lead with this. Almost all of my clients that come into the academy, when we go through their offer suite on their onboarding call, one of the things that we talk about is how many units or how many clients or how many sales they need to make in order to get to their preliminary goal, right? Like, that is the first goal that we want to get them. Now, a lot of people will tell you, well, I want to get to 5K a month. I'm like, okay, is that revenue or is that take home? And usually most people, they're like, I don't know. Well, this is the thing. If you're one of those people, you need to get profit first right now. It's a book. It's called Profit First. I'm going to put it on the show notes for you to read it because that has changed my business forever. I'm going to run you through the percentages that I use for every dollar that comes into my business. But then I'm going to also talk to you about costs that people don't ever think about. So for every single dollar that comes into my business, what I do is 30% goes to my compensation. So I am paying myself a salary, and that salary actually doesn't change. So the month that I'm making 40K, that salary doesn't change. I already have next salary already in reserve. And last month I pay myself exactly the same. Now, why? Is because you need to operate like a true fucking business. So you need to say, okay, I would love to make X, and you can like start preparing yourself to pay yourself more. But what, like in my case, that is 30% of per every dollar that comes in. So then the next allocation is 40% for operations. Now, under operations, you're going to have, if you have a VA, if you have what I call the digital team, right? That's like if you have Kajabi or Podia, whatever it is that you're using to host your programs or your videos or whatever it is, like your email server, your Canva Pro, your whatever it is that you're actually paying, like Zapier, like I'm looking right now here, Riverside, right? Which is what I use to record my podcast, whatever it is, your digital team. Then we have 30%, 40%. Then I have 15% of the top. Personally, I do of the top goes to taxes. Now, you may have a lot of people that tells you this is a lot of money. However, what I found is that at the end of the year or every quarter, which I'm sending my estimates, at the end of the year, usually I get a good chunk back. So for me, I'm like, you know what? I don't care. I never want to owe money to Uncle Sam. I'm going to tell you this, okay? Everybody does it in a different way. You can get also a tax strategies that we're working right now on getting one. But the reason why this is important is because you never want to be with no money at the end of the year to pay your taxes. So I always like to be on the side of caution. Okay. So 30% compensation, 40% operations, 15% taxes, 10% to savings. You may not want to put 10% away forever, but this is the thing. If you are working your business full time, which I am, this 10% is helping me to put several months away of my salary, my assistant salary, and we also have a VA, right? Or VA salary, because I want my business to keep running if anything happens to me. Right. So I want to make sure that if I need to travel to Argentina, if something happens, whatever it is, that I can still have an income. And I'm doing this through the savings inside of my business. And then we also have 5% that we call it profit. Now, this profit can be used in several different ways. It can be either a bonus at the end of the year. It can be also used towards coaching. Part of your savings can be used toward coaching. Now, I have flexibility when it comes to my savings and my profit account, but the other accounts, I am zero flexible. The 30%, the 40%, and the 15% for the taxes. Now, why this is important for you to know is because as your business expands and grows, you want to also put money back into your business. So let's talk about other costs and other things that usually people don't really talk about. Okay. So cost when it comes to your team, cost, when it comes to trial and error. Okay. So I want to talk about this because I'm going to give you an example. Last year, around this time of the year, we invested about $25,000 on ads. And it didn't work. And after that, we tried with a different person and it didn't work either. Now, I'm going to tell you this. If you haven't had success organically, your money is not smart put in ads. In my opinion, that is just me. Because if your organic efforts are not working, I don't believe that your ads are going to be working. However, somebody might prove me wrong, right? But I know that I have built this business all the way up to here with personal branding strategies, organic reach, and all the things that we teach inside of the academy. So, and my clients are doing it too. Now, why the cost of trial and error? Because you're either paying it on money or you're paying it on time. And I personally like to use money, so I don't have to wait forever to see what works for me and what doesn't. And part of this is because as a business owner, you want to be constantly be investing in yourself and your business. And trial and error is the best way to doing this. So let me give you an example, because my next point is what works for me may not work for you. While all the strategies that we teach on the academy, they're fucking proven. There is so many people having success in there, but you may need to tweak them. You may need time to actually have something that feels really, really good for you, right? It may be the same strategy, but it's shorter. So for example, we use a 9-day live launch, and this may not be what you want to do, right? So you may want to do a 3-day launch. You may want to do a 5-day launch. You may want to do a 1-day workshop. You may want to do it in person. I'm just helping somebody inside of the academy to do that. So trial and error, you have to invest time and money. And people sometimes see these numbers and they're like, oh my God, this person is floating in money. Well, this is a business and there is cost to everything that you are going to do. And the more you can get into that mindset, also is your risk tolerance is going to go up, because not everything in business is going to be a success. And I want to share this with you. There were 3 things this year that were amazing. It was our February launch. It was our event, our Be Brand Live event that we hosted live here in Las Vegas in September, and our November launch. There were a few things that these launches had in common. Number one, I went all in. I didn't kept anything out, but besides going all in with the actions, with the promo, with the marketing, with talking about it, I went all in spiritually. I was convinced about my offer. I was excited about them. I was excited to talk about it. And I really believe that that's what made all the difference. Yes, the strategy. Yes, all the work that I have done to get here, because that is another thing, is the long-term cost, right? Like the $40,000 didn't happen overnight. The $60,000 launch didn't happen overnight. Everything that I have done in my business has brought me here. And the growth into this person that I am right now that can hold this is what is making the difference, and is what is setting the point of growth for the next leap. So I want you to kind of have that in the forefront of your mind. So what I'm going to do now is I want to break down for you the $40,000 month, but then I want to talk about the launch, because I know that a lot of you are service providers, are coaches, you are trying to scale. And I kind of want to walk you through that with a lot of transparency, because I think that people sometimes they don't understand what it takes to make these numbers. So I'm going to read this to you. I read it from the text, but this is the best way to break it down for you. In the month of November, we brought in $40,000 cash. Out of those $20,000, $23,000 were from sales that were made in November. Some of those sales were the launch. Some of those sales were the VIPs that we sold in the launch. $23,000 on sales from the launch. Some of those were actually recurrent revenue from people that are already in our programs. So Be Brand Academy and the personal branding photography membership that we have here in town. $15,000 came into Honeybooks. That came from VIP days and photo shoots. $1,500 came in through PayPal. That is part of our Black Friday sale. Out of the $23,000 that I mentioned before, some of those also were part of our Black Friday sale. What I want you to understand is, if there is one thing that in my opinion, you should be working towards, and I want you to think about this. I see so many of you chasing clients month after month after month because you don't have any kind of recurrent revenue, Okay. And this was something that it was so life changing to me. It helped me so much to be able to realize what what I love doing, what I like helping my people with. And it also allowed me to relax sometimes around this income because not every month I was starting again. So what can you offer that can give you that buffer every month? So this brings me now to the launch. So we actually had a $62,300,000 launch. Now I'm going to break it down so you understand. I'm going to tell you how many people we had registered and what worked and what didn't work. What were some of the things that we learned in the past and that brought us to this success in this launch. So number one, I want you to understand that a $63,000 launch doesn't mean that all that money came in together. So those $23,000 that came in from the 40, some of those were the first payments of the sales that we did on the launch, and some of those were recurrent revenue. So in the $63,000 launch, we sold 6 BU brands, right? The program cost $7,500, $7,500. 5 of those at $7,800 because they were monthly payments. 1 pay in full. And then we sold 2 VIPs at $7,500 each. And one of those sales also added the membership on top to that for a grouping, $62,300. Now, this is the thing. We used to run free personal branding bootcamps forever. The model that I use, I know that some people are like, this doesn't work for me, it's too much time. But something that I do is I do a live launch where I go live for 9 days. We advertise it for 5 days with 4 bonus sessions. So we always say it's a 5-day personal branding bootcamp with 4 bonus sessions. We'll let you know later, whatever. This is the thing. We used to run this bootcamp for free forever. And we used to have like 400, 500, 600 people register. And one of the things that I've noticed was my energy was so shaky throughout those launches because these people were free riders, right? They were getting these for free 99. So 500 people would register, like, I don't know, 120 people would show up on day 1. And then by day 3, we would have 50 people on Zoom. I remember I was like, what the fuck? Right? Like, so my energy was shifting and it was really, really hard to be excited because I couldn't see the people really taking advantage of the value that I was providing. And I'm going to tell you guys, if you ever been to one of my bootcamps are amazing. And I'm not just saying this because they're mine. People are blown away by the amount of care and by the amount of value that I offer in there. If people would actually take action and they would really pay attention, they can literally change their life just with those bootcamps. I promise you, like, for sure. And so halfway through the year, I believe February's launch was still free. And then halfway through the year, I decided that I wanted to try a paid launch, trial and error. I didn't know if this was going to work. And there was some pre-work that had to do, right? We had to create cards and we had to like figure out the funnel so people could pay us, all of that. And we had our first paid bootcamp, I believe it was in June, and it was pretty good. It was great, but we were able to be, okay, this works, this doesn't work. And by the time we rolled this launch, we only had 50 people registered. Now, why do I say only? Is because back in the day, I was hustling to get 5, 6, 700, 1,000 people registered. That was like a fucking mind game. But 50 people, you already have 50 people in your audience. Every single one of you has fucking 50 people on your audience. Guys, I have under 4,000 followers on Instagram. My email list is under 3,000. 1,000 people, and we just had a $63,000 launch. We are about to cross the 300,000 for the year. So if you are underestimating the power of your audience and the power of understanding your ideal client, and that every single follower should be the right person, not just a fucking number on your Instagram, you're crazy. Like, that is where the secret is. Okay. So out of the 50 people, side note, when we were having the 5 or 6 or 700 people register launch, we were closing at about 2%, 3%. Listen to the numbers. 50 people register, paid launch, $17 to get in with an option to upgrade to a VIP. Now, I was already looking for their homework. I was already reading through their stuff. So all I did was change that for an hour where people could stay with me on Zoom, and literally I would walk them and answer questions about the homework. Out of the 50 people, 6 people register for Be Brand at $7,500 if they pay in full, or $7,800 if they pay in payments. We sold 2 VIP weekends. This is from people that were registered for the launch. And when we host these kind of events, even if it's for one day, even if you're doing something in person, even if you're doing something for 3 days, you are growing your authority, your audience, and your influence. And I think that this was so life-changing, you guys, because when we started doing this, I understood what it means to have a quality audience. And the more I tell you this, the more I tell you why we teach all the networking strategies that we teach, all the visibility strategies. This is not, I woke up one day and I had these results. This is not, one day I woke up and I make 40 grand. I want you to truly look at yourself in the mirror and being, am I stopping and am I looking at what I'm doing, what is working, what is not working, what I like doing, what I don't like doing. On episode 14, I share my whole getting ready for next year, like how I plan strategically, in alignment for my soul, right? That would be a really good place to start if you have big goals like these kind of numbers. So I want you to really think, who do I need to be in order to hit this number? What do I need to discover about myself? What beliefs do I have? I'm going to tell you the biggest work that I'm doing around all these to be able to hold it and to still feel happy and to be excited about creating this. None of these numbers would make sense if I'm not fucking excited about it, right? So who do you need to be to create these kind of numbers? Are you truly coming from a place of excitement, right? Or are you coming from a place of, I need to make money, I need to make money? Stop looking at your audience like they have a dollar sign in their fucking forehead. And start taking your excuses out of the middle and really going for the difference that you truly want to make in this world. This is it. This is my spill about how we made 40K this last month and how we had an amazing launch. I think that a few things, something that comes to mind that I wanted to actually put in here. One of the things that we brought in when it comes to our launches, we have a super cool ambassador program, and a lot of people that come in that ambassador program, they have a link, and the $17 actually goes to them. And then if their people ends up joining B Brand, they also make a commission. And what I think that is so cool about these, you guys, and I know that when I first heard of this years ago, like affiliate marketing, or when I was in network marketing, it was like, whoa, but if I invite somebody and I'm making a commission, that is so self-serving. This is the thing, you guys, we live in the digital economy. You are building audiences. I am building audiences. Those audiences have value. So there is nothing wrong for you to share with people like products and services that you actually love. Now, they have to be things that you actually love, okay? Because your personal brand is literally on the line. Like, if you have the tiniest question about it, you cannot share, because it needs to be something that you know is going to be beneficial to your people no matter what, right? So I wanted to put that out there because that has been actually a lot of our 50 people that register came through Ambassador, through my speaking event, through podcasts, through my Instagram, all of that. And I thought it like I forgot that. So I wanted to put it out there. So I hope that this episode super fucking inspire you to plan for 2024 to go for the fucking moon. Because this is the thing. We doubled our business this year. I didn't work more. I just was more strategic. I actually worked less. I took more time to look into my business, to look into my numbers, to think about what made me happy, the things that I wanted to create. And that is how we are going into 2024 to double our business again. So if you don't know where you're at with all of this, I have a quiz for you that is actually on my website. It's also on the show notes, but this quiz kind of like shows you the 7 pillars of a profitable personal brand, like all the things that they are a must for you to make sure that you can get profitable when you're running your brand and your business. So if you're not sure where you're standing, or if you are not in my email world yet and you want to get updates in all of the programs, all the things that we're doing, that is a great way for you to get in it, because we'll send you, not only will tell you if you're beginner, an intermediate, or if you're an advanced, we'll also give you like a valuable step that you need to take right now to move over to the next category so you can start being absolutely profitable. Okay. So I hope that this was super inspiring for you. I would love to hear from you. What questions do you have about this? Was this triggering for you? Was this inspiring? I would love if you can take a second, take a screenshot, and share in your stories what was your biggest takeaway and tag me. I would love to give you a shout out. I would love to share you with my audience, and I would love to hear from you. I hope you have an amazing week, and I'll see you next Monday. Bye, guys.